about success, and I guess that success, you know, that's a really broad term. What exactly does it mean? I mean, it means maybe having wealth. It means maybe just getting into your conversation class with technology. You know, there are lots of different ways to look at success, define it, understand it, appreciate it. We're going to talk today a little bit about what it means and hopefully just really kind of understand where those priorities should lie and what it is that makes us all successful. So the first question that we have is, what do you think it means to be successful? Denise, why don't we start with you? What is success in your eyes?
For me, success is probably feel happy for a long time. It's a rather strange explanation, but if I feel myself well, if I feel myself happy, and this is persistent over some meaningful time, or this is my common mode for a long time, some kind of this. Because other explanation, it's very complicated and contains many criteria, details, and it's not important to my mind.
Okay, so for you, it's happiness. That is your kind of understanding of success.
Persistent happiness.
Persistent happiness. Okay.
Yes.
All right, that sounds good. Elliot, what about you? What do you think? What does it mean to be successful?
I think being successful is being satisfied with everything, being in some harmonic relationship with everything around you. Also, being successful means to reach your aims, but to have another ones in forward, because it is, I think, very common situation when you reached some your aims, then you feel a bit empty inside, and this feeling, I think, also disturbs being successful, something like that. Spoils that very good feeling of success.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. I mean, yeah, having those goals, like you said, that's important. Goals for success and that sort of feeling of accomplishment. That's an interesting point. When I think about success, I think about, yeah, like Denise said, being happy, feeling happy. I think another way that I would define success is feeling appreciated. And there are different ways to feel appreciated, right? I mean, one is if you're getting, for example, money for a job you're doing, right? You feel like maybe you're appreciated. Maybe it's praise from your coworkers, from your family or something like that, you know, job well done, that sort of thing. Maybe too, again, that appreciation. It's like feeling as though what you're doing is worthwhile, which is something that if you read the articles, I think, you know, you read about. It's like that whole understanding that you need to be doing something that makes you feel like it's worth it. So I think that's at least the way I see it, that's an important component of success. So it's being happy, and it's also feeling appreciated, feeling like what you're doing matters, right? There's a purpose, like you were talking about earlier, that sort of goal, that purpose that's sort of there too. But I think that that's sort of the thing too. For me, it's not so much what I personally have, but it's how it's understood or appreciated by people around me, which is maybe an extrovert sort of approach toward this sort of thing. But again, this is a definition that's different for different people. You know, I mean, I would say that for some people, of course, success is going to be something that's a very, very personal thing. For others, it involves other people. You know, I mean, if you look at celebrities, right? Celebrities, I think, are maybe a good example that their success is proved by the fact that they are famous, that there are people that follow them, that appreciate them and what have you. So again, like different ways of looking at this sort of thing. Next question that we have is, do you feel that you are successful? Elia, what do you think? Do you feel that you are successful? You're in the Google chat today, so I mean that's success in my view there.
It depends on the field. In some fields, I feel a success. I feel that I'm successful. If to consider the field of family, having children and things like that. If to consider the professional field, so I don't think that I'm successful here, unfortunately. But um, I'm not going to be upset about that. So I try to get some maybe last points to get that feeling of success.
All right. All right. Very positive, sort of realistic outlook. I like that one. What about you, Denise? Do you feel that you are successful?
I was on mute. Yes,
okay, that was not
yes.
successful. Now you're successful. Now you've got the connection, so it's great. All right.
I
please,
have no
give us-
problem with Google and connection, but I usually forgot about disabling mute. So about success, the question was success. Yes, generally I feel me success, especially if I feel that some important thing for me changed during my life or during my work or something else. So generally, yes. But sometimes if there are some stable situation without any tendency to growth or to improve, I feel myself less successful.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yana, welcome. But we can maybe go back to Yana. We can ask Yana the first question, which is what do you feel is success? I mean, what do you think it means to be successful? Can we ask you that question? You can just say hi and give us the answer to that first question. If you're here, if you successfully entered our group today, I don't know. Maybe not.
Yana is here, but she's mute. Maybe
You gotta unmute yourself there, Yana.
Because yes, her microphone is closed as far as I can understand that. Yana, please push the button of microphone and switch it on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Okay, so please
All
tell
right.
us.
I'm so sorry for being late and give me some time to pull myself together. I'm so sorry. I'm a technophobe, you know, and it always takes me a lot of time to get to the meeting to connect when it comes to technology. So what is the question? What is success for me?
Yeah, what do you think? What does it mean to be successful?
All right. So I think the majority of people tend to consider success, well, they tend to equate the definitions success, being successful, and being famous, probably. Also, they equate definitions of money and success, as I think. But let me disagree with this. Because for me, success is something for example, let's say you set the goals in your life and you try to achieve these goals. So as soon you achieve your goals, whatever they can be different to your goals, because all of us are different and we have different goals in our life. Let's say someone wants to earn $1 million. Someone wants to make a fortune. Someone wants to get happily married. Let's say someone wants to have 10 kids. Let's say. So as soon they achieve their goals, they become successful. So this is success for me. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, surely we can hear you. What about Daniela? Are you with us, Daniela?
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe I had a problem with my microphone now. My goodness. No, I was saying great, Yana. I mean, those are really good points. Let's move into the second question to Yana, because you're here and that was one that we were on. And they are very interrelated in that sense. But Next question is, do you feel that you were successful? Elia, what do you think? Elia, sorry. Yana, what do you think?
All right, let me think. Well, I should admit, no, I don't feel myself successful, sadly. Look, I want to say that I consider life as, let's say, a current, yeah? So, and the way I had been living my life, so I just went, or let's say I had, so I just go, some people just go along the current, yeah? They don't make a lot of, let's say, they don't make any efforts to change their life or just to do anything in your life. So wherever, which place the life brings to me, there am I. So I don't do much in my life. So I want to say I had been living that way all my life. Up until the moment, one day, something knocked to my head. I don't know what was it. So I just woke up at night and I realized I live not my life. And that time I made decision to, let's say, get out of my system and to change something in my life. So now I have a picture in my head about my future, what I dream about, what I want to achieve. So I have some plans, yeah. So they haven't come to fruition yet, my plans, but I'm working on it. I'm working on achieving my goals. So my actions and my plans are afoot, and I hope I will be successful one day. But I haven't been so far.
Well, there's still time, right? That's the thing about life. There's still time and that sort of thing. You know, when we think about this sort of understanding of successful, are you successful or not? I mean, it's such a complicated question because, again, we've got so many different components to deal with, so many different expectations that there are from our society, from our upbringing. I mean, the variables are endless and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, you know, what does it mean to be successful? How important are those components of success? I don't know. I think, am I successful or not? And I'm like, I'm alive, which means, I mean, in that sense, I'm successful, right? I have a family and I have a roof over my head and food on the table and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, yes, from a spiritual standpoint, I am very appreciative for what I have and I'm thankful. And, you know, without getting into religious themes, I mean, it's all very kind of, you know, just, well, there are lots of different components of that too. Again, you know, what you need to be happy, what you need to be content, you know, where those sort of things all lie in. If you look at different world religions, there are different themes that they will explore too. And if you compare them, you'll see how, I mean, eventually they all pretty much have that same sort of, I don't want to say focus, but just understanding that, yeah, maybe there's something greater than that whole sort of self or being or something like that, and just having to find your place in this universe, right? In this world, in this just existence, which is so much bigger than any of us are. So what does any of that success really mean temporally right now when there's so much more going on everywhere, you know, in everything? So I don't know. I mean, I would say, yes, I'm successful. I mean, not going to fill in everybody's definition of success, but I'm happy and content. So I guess that's what matters. I'm actually thinking right now, as we talk about this, there's this song from an indie group band, American band, with former child actress as its lead singer. I'm not even sure they're still around, to tell you the truth, but there's this one song. It's a very kind of sad reflection on success. Like, that's the whole title of the song. It's Pictures of Success. And it basically just goes through all of these expectations, right? These sort of ideals that there are about what it means to be successful. And, you know, it's like creating things or being in a certain place, or, you know, like all of these different goals, or travel. I mean, like, it really goes into all these different things. But at the end of the day, you know, what happens at the end? We're all going to die. So again, it's all a matter of perspective, and this song really kind of makes me think, at least. And I had completely forgotten about that song until we're talking and these words come up and the song just comes into my head. So anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, but something, if I can find the video, I'll try to send it to you. But again, it's an indie group and it's an old song, so I don't know if it's still out there. But let's go on to our next question. Oh, wait, Denise, did you answer the question about being successful? Do you feel successful? I think you did, but then Yana came in and I'm kind of turned around. Did you answer that one?
Oh, but yes, second question is yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. I was just a bit confused, All right, next question. We'll start with you, Denise. What do you think you have to do to feel and be successful? Denise, what do you think? What do you have to do to get that?
For me, successful is more about changing something, getting more new experience, or organize something in my life. So if I feel that I improve my skills or improve my relations or probably increase my work rates or changing some other thing important for me, I feel me success.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. What about you, Elia? What do you think you have to do to feel and be successful?
I just thought about that right now. Maybe for me to be more successful, just to think over every day at the end of the day, what have you reached today, and to make plans to be more organized, to work harder and not even harder, but maybe with much more purpose, much more concentrated, putting the aim, putting the goals in the mind. So I think that would certainly help me to be more successful.
Okay, yeah, and sorry, Ellie. Yana, what about you? What do you think you have to do to feel and be successful?
What do I have to do? All right, as I mentioned earlier, to be successful for me, it means to achieve your goals. So for me, I have to, from my perspective, I have to set the goals and just follow my goals, to do something, to undertake something to achieve them. Yeah, and on my way, I have to be persistent and consistent. Yeah, in spite of different, I don't know, distracting things or different things, because on your way up, yeah, when you're trying to achieve something, obviously you meet with ups and downs. Yeah, your way goes up and down, and we have to keep our chins up whenever we are in the low. Yeah, when we are down. So we have to go for it and just do something, to undertake something. Well, and I really try to do all the things, but as it's distracting me. Like, I don't know, but we can't, for example, I have to allocate enough time for achieving my goals. Yeah, for that, I need to study, I need to be alone, let's say, but I can't dismiss different other things from my life, like being with friends, being with my family, unfortunately. And sometimes I don't know what to do, how to, let's say, to strengthen my day, to have some more time. Yeah. Doing things I love and I want to achieve. For that, I think we have to maybe to set our priorities right, and we have to be good at time management. So we have to do firstly things which are really important now, and probably put off different other things. And find and up until appropriate moment and do them later, like this. That's it. So to be successful, just do something, undertake something. We have to, yeah. and set our goals and let's say find or identify strategies, yeah, and go.
Absolutely. And Yana, you mentioned like having the time to do all this. That's such an important thing. Something we've discussed in previous conversation club meetings about this whole sort of, time management and, prioritization, all of these different things. This is something that really kind of is a recurring theme for us, right? The time. If it's me time, or if it's time to get yourself successful, if it's time to get all this done, spend time with your family, your friends, your work obligations, get it all done yourself. So again, that's really kind of a thing that we're discussing a lot in this group, I see. When it comes to being successful, feeling successful, being successful, what do I have to do? Again, I need the time, it's really one of those things. I need time. And with all of the sort of responsibilities and obligations that we have, especially in modern society, when everything is almost expected to be instantaneous these days, everything is integrated, everything is online, everything is 24/7 available now. It's really one of those things. And again, it's sort of that. So yeah, I definitely need time to feel and be successful. What do you think the obstacles to success are? Elliot, let's start with you. What do you think obstacles to success are?
Okay, Jana already mentioned, I think, some obstacles, and you too, because you both said that lack of time maybe is a great obstacle. But I think that there is another side of this problem, that we usually find that very time we really need. I think it depends the priority priority questions, how we point our priorities, how put them in what order we choose to do this thing or that thing, what do we like more or less. uh, so I think that the aim is and the goal is to get your aim doing what you really like to do, what you really, I don't know, mm, what you are happy about it. So I think it is very difficult, because it means that you will be working hard, but you will be admiring that situation. You will admire that working hard, and of course, if you admire it, if you love it, you will certainly find time for it. So that is, I think, the main problem, to find such ways to get to your goal.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Denise, what about you? What do you think obstacles to success are?
Obstacles. To me, probably the most frequently obstacle is a wrong understanding of criteria of success. Because we have some model of social success, which translates from mass media, but it's not relevant to really a feeling of success for different peoples. Each doesn't have his own understanding and feeling of success. So first, for me, it's a wrong understanding of success, trying to achieve not own but some outer projected success. And I think it's time management, goals management, good understanding of resources and possibilities. But it's more about organizing life than success, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Ellie. Why do I keep on saying Ellie when I mean Yana? Yana, what about you? What do you think obstacles to success are?
Along with the lack of time, I have to mention procrastination. This is a huge enemy of us. Yeah. So once we have a picture in our head, we have a dream, let's say, yeah. So we dream about something and we don't do anything. And sometimes we just get stuck up with our dreams and without action, yeah. So, and there's a big distance between dreaming, yeah, between these two stages, I would say, dreaming stage and activity stage or active stage when you start doing something. So we shouldn't procrastinate and we shouldn't keep this distance so huge, yeah. Once you have a dream, of course, we have to be dreamers also, and we have to dream about this, about our achieving, about our goals, yeah. So this reminds me of the speaker. I don't remember what was his name in the video, Jesse, yeah. He mentioned two types of peoples. Some of them are talkers and some of them are doers. And I would say, I would add one more category of people, they are dreamers. So there are three stages for me on your way to success. Dreaming stage, let's say talking stage, when you converse with different people, you interact with people about your dream, about your goals. And the third stage is doing stage, activity stage, yeah. So we have to, I don't know, act fast, I would say. Besides that, we have to take into account, as I mentioned before, that the way to success implies ups and downs. And sometimes people just fall into despair, they lose heart, and they get disappointed. And this is the step back. So we have to bear this in mind and this fact in mind, yeah, and just act and continue our way to the top, let's say, to success. So these are some of the obstacles.
Definitely. And that whole procrastination, once again, a topic that we have discussed in this group. You weren't with us for that one, Yana, but yeah, again, these are the sort of things that are definitely obstacles for us, right? When we have so many things to do, plus so many distractions, how do we get it all done? It's a really good point that you all brought up, points that you all brought up in that sense. When I think about obstacles to success, yes, I think about all of these factors, like load of work, distractions. Another obstacle to success that I see, again, I mean, it's like what I was mentioning in the beginning, it's like when you're not appreciated. And this is something, having worked in a Russian environment, I can say that very often Russian companies don't know how to motivate the morale of employees, right? Whereas in the West, maybe there is a bit more of that. In theory, it's not always going to be the case. I'd say that at least in the United States, there really has been that understanding of teamwork, company player, promotion, that sort of understanding that you as an individual are important to this team. And at least in Russia, yes, the team is very important, but it's also understood to be the team, right? And so you don't put too much emphasis on the individual, which has some advantages. Yes, absolutely. I would say that teamwork as such, teamwork works wonderfully in Russia. But then I met so many people who were members of teams who really didn't feel all that motivated, appreciated, or successful. And I wondered why. And I think that that's really a big part of it. It's feeling appreciated. And, it doesn't necessarily have to come, like I say, as a raise or a promotion or something like that. But just sometimes a pat on the back saying, hey, good job, or, great to have you on this team. That sort of thing, like, makes someone feel like they're contributing and therefore successful. Again, it's something that I really observed in Russia as being a bit behind on, but it's not just Russia, because there are other parts of the world where this is a similar sort of situation. And it's, again, maybe something that will change over time as different business practices are implemented. That sort of research is done to understand what motivates people, what we define as success, and so forth and so on. Why don't we think about an obstacle that you overcame to be successful? Yana, what about you? Is there some obstacle that you can think of that you overcame in order to be successful?
Unfortunately, I can't, as I said, I don't consider myself being a successful person, so I don't have much to say here.
At all, Yana? I mean, come on, there's got to be something. You speak English. I don't know.
Well, I want to say, I can say that sometimes I have to overcome, I have to go over myself and do some steps in life. Like, I consider myself being a shy person, and sometimes it takes me lots of guts to start talking with people, to ask them for something, I don't know. And yeah, sometimes I have to overcome those obstacles. I do this regularly, but so far I didn't do much to to be successful. I'm just on my way.
Okay, that's motivating. It's in progress. I like that. And then what about you? Can you think of an obstacle you overcame to become successful in life?
I don't know whether there were at least some obstacles, because it is a bit difficult to define that now. After you have reached, you think whether it was an obstacle at all or not. But I think when you can't sleep, you can't, I don't know, drink, you can't eat, you can't do nothing, but you are always thinking about your goal, there is no obstacle at all, and you will reach your goal. It is, I don't know, I think it is 100% true. And if I can't reach something, it means that I don't want to do it enough powerfully, enough much. So I think there is no obstacles really to reach success.
Okay, yeah. So like that sort of internal sort of feeling. I mean, you can't do this, you can't do that. You got to get over that and be successful. I like that. Denise, what about you? Can you think of some obstacle you were able to overcome to be successful in life?
I can't remember some simply defined obstacles, more about some more abstract thing. But for me, most good example of overcoming obstacles was a better understanding what is my features, what thing I can do well and it's not hard for me, and what thing are hard and I can't do it well at all. It's more about a better understanding of my abilities, my skills, and how I can use it to be more happy, be more successful.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's, again, really kind of using that as inspiration, as motivation and everything. I'm going to share with you all kind of a weird story. Maybe it's a bit kind of a reverse sort of situation or something like that. But when it comes to obstacles and being successful and what have you, and I remember that when I first came to Russia and I was a student and, you know, still kind of learning how to use Russian in life and everything like this, because, you know, what you have learning a language in one place isn't really always enough to use it actively in the place where the language is used as its native language. But I really felt intimidated by proper use of Russian and interacting with people. And I really felt that, you know, this level of Russian, this imperfect level of Russian, was basically a huge stop sign, right? A huge red light that nothing was going to be possible without this. And I really, really tried, you know, to immerse myself in the language and the culture and intonation, in understanding how people talk and interact and present ideas and everything else. And this is something that, I mean, over time, I was really kind of able to understand and use and develop and everything. And in doing that, in really being dedicated to this, you know, this sort of mastery of the language, I was able to be successful in using the other skills that I had, namely English, but other, you know, other things as well. And because of that, you know, I was able to kind of maybe put more focus on where my biggest strengths were. And in using those bigger strengths, was able to then use the other ones as kind of, well, how would you say it? Something like, you know, additional benefit or something like that. So, I mean, that was kind of a situation where it took time, it took dedication, but it definitely paid off. It was definitely worthwhile in the end. But, you know, that is really an obstacle for a lot of people. Language barriers are obstacles, especially when people are trying to make it work in a language that's not their native language. And, you know, you can know a language perfectly. You can know all the grammar rules and everything like that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to communicate with people and get your ideas across and be understood and be respected and everything else. And that's something that I think that, you know, this is something that our group, for example, is really helpful with. You know, we can work this out. We can get this practice. We can understand what we're doing, express ourselves. It's really important. But again, you know, I think any obstacle can be overcome in one way or another. And like I say, success is definitely something that comes when we work at it. So, yeah.
Daniela, can I ask you, do you speak Russian, and how long did it take you to master it, the language?
Well, you know, I mean, that's a good question. Yes, I do. Mastery, I don't think anyone can say they're truly a master of anything. At least I don't. That's not my personal philosophy. But when I first came, I understood what was going on. And for a long time, I understood everything. I would say that for 2 years, I understood but couldn't express myself. And there were a lot of things like I could read. And like I say, that wasn't the problem. It took maybe about 1.5 years working in a Russian language environment when, you know, you really didn't have the option to speak English to certain people. That really kind of just made that switch happen. Maybe 2 years. And then after that, it just kind of became second nature when you're actually out talking to people and it was like a regular sort of part of your life. So yeah, although after not living in Russia, I can still understand, but yeah, again, communication is a problem because if you're not using something, it kind of all slips away. And I've got a lot of other issues with that too. But anyway, yeah, that's the answer. Next question is about, well, societal definitions of success. So let's think. I mean, what do you think society defines as success? Yana, let's start with you.
I am pretty sure that society defines success. Society associates their success with money. Once you achieve, let's say, your monetary goals, yeah, you are successful. If you have money, you are successful, yeah. So money is tend to be a symbol of virility, I would say, especially for men, yeah. So you are quite mature if you have money. I think this is how the society defines
Okay.
society
What
associated with
society
money.
are you using as your base point? Are you using Russian society? Are you using Egyptian society? What are you thinking?
Oh, I didn't think about this at all. I think
Because
Russian. Yeah, Russian.
okay.
Yeah, Russian.
Okay.
Because for Egyptian people, yeah, as I live now in Egypt, money is not on the first place in their life. They have another symbols, I would say, in their life, another priorities like family, friends, and good relationship with people. This is more important for Egyptian people rather than money.
Okay. Yeah. So then, yeah, it definitely does change in that sense. Denise, what do you think? What do you think society defines as success? And then, what do you define as society? That's, I guess, another good point to talk about. What do you think?
I think it depends, yes, of how we define society or how we, I don't know, limit people who we will use as some representation for part of society. So for me, I meet a very different explanation and understanding of success after finished university and I start working with engineers as a programmer. Because when I started at economy as economist, yes, the most criteria of success was working in one of biggest company like top of 10 banks or something like Gazprom or something like this, and money you have, and also relationship, but not personal relationship, but it's more about knowing of some well-known and important people in firm you work or in some other uh, big companies. But when I start working as a programmer, I meet a completely different explanation and understanding, and it have many uh, deviations and many different features. So it's rather hard to me create some such simple description as before. But in common, it's first professional growth is very important. Next, it's more about working on interesting and skilled tasks. Next is relationship and money. Money is also important because it's one of the useful resources. Can be used to achieve to get a more time to your own your own tasks or to simplify some bunch of things in life. It's not a key thing, but it's very important also. But if I can get different set of people say that it's also another society and will extract another explanation of success. So for me, success is a more individual and very own thing.
Absolutely, very individual thing. All right, it's an interesting point that you make there, Denise. I mean, they're very different answers, you and Yana, in that sense. But again, it's a very interesting question. There is no real right answer to it. Elliot, what about you? What do you think that society defines as success? And then again, which society are you using? These are all good points to make.
As far as I have been living here in Russia for many years, I think I use this society defined. So I think that in Russia, success and power, uh, this is the same. They go together. And I think the power is much more important, maybe even than money in Russia. But I think they also go together. If you got money, usually you've got power, and vice versa. But power is very mm, so it's that very definition point in Russia, or that mm, can describe successfulness. I think that's my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting point there. Money, money, money. We really kind of see a lot of that. I mean, that's kind of maybe the stereotypical definition of success, and something that capitalist world, not even the capitalist world, because, you know, you see this in other economies as well, but those who have that wealth are the ones that have the power, right? It's pretty much been like that throughout history, in spite of all of the different maybe government changes or society changes that have been attempted to make. At the end of the day, depending, you know, regardless of those different ideals, money still has that power, doesn't it? It's kind of amazing when you think about it. I would say that, I mean, bearing that in mind, yes, money is something that society, all societies really do kind of seem to, I don't want to say define as being successful, but it's definitely almost always a component, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, even if you think, I don't know, I'm trying to think about North Korea. I don't know why that's coming to my mind. What is success there? And I think that, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever seen any of these exhibits. They had one in Moscow a couple of years ago that was just fascinating. You know, it looked at North Korean society, and it just showed how happy people were. Happy people were living under this totalitarian regime. People were just happy, and you wonder, well, do they have a choice? Like, that's, I guess, the sort of, you know, maybe gut reaction we have. They don't have a choice. They have to be happy. But my goodness, to be happy is something that comes so deep within a person, you know? And as we mentioned, you know, like Denise mentioned, being happy, that's success. And if we looked at those articles that I had sent to you, Americans define success as being happy. Well, that's kind of amazing considering, you know, how much money drives American society. Well, you know, maybe that's the whole sort of thing, this awakening inside of people that it is something more. You know, money does, there's no question about it, money does buy a lot of things, including things that can give you a comfortable life, glamorous life, you know, kind of carefree. But does that automatically guarantee happiness? I don't know. I won't say that it will, because again, I think that that happiness comes from within a person. And when you think about what society expects from people, you know, it's such a complicated and deep question and such an individual answer. But I would say that yes, you know, that now we see this definition of happiness being success, but at the end of the day, you still see the power that money has for people and how that money is respected, right? If you're a happy person, you're not going to be respected, right? Chances are you're not going to be respected. If you walk into a room and you just go and you say, you go into a restaurant, right? And you want to get a table, right? At a very busy restaurant where you have to make reservations far in advance or something like that. You just come in, you say, hi, I am so happy today. I'm really hoping to get a table. Yeah. Probably, oh, I'm sorry, sir. All of our tables are full. Whereas the guy who comes in with, I don't know, $100 in his hand and says, I really need a table. Let's make it happen. Oh, yes, thank you, sir. We'll see to that right away. Grab the money, put it in the guy's pocket, and everything is taken care of. So again, you know, it's one of those things that I think we can have our ideals of that sort of happiness defining success, but success is one thing, and, you know, like respectability or, you know, like that sort of respect is something else. So again, how this all plays in, I think these are all very good questions, and we should be asking ourselves as we form our own lives, our own expectations of people, how we raise, you know, our children, how we expect our children to function too, you know, what we want them to know about how they should live their lives in the future. What is important? Is it having the brand new sparkly car, or is it living in a place that makes you happy? You know, because there's so many different components of all of this. Once again, do you think it's possible to be successful without being happy? And how about happy without being successful? Denise, what do you think? Is it possible to be successful without being happy? or happy without being successful? Didn't you? So you are mute? Maybe?
Yes, I was on mute, of course. So for me, it's completely impossible because for me, most part of being successful is being happy. What I can understand or try to dream about people which can be successful and not to be happy if successful is defined another way. For example, I know people for him successful is more about achieving goals and spend all time and all resources to achieving goal is being successful for such people. And it's hard to call such state as a happy.
Yeah.
Second question is a good thing because for me, yes, it's possible to be happy without being successful. Another side of successful for me is some movement, some changing in my life. So I can remember a period of time when I was happy, but there was I'm not achieving any goals. I'm not changing something. I only using what I have and doing the same thing. I was happy for some time, but I don't feel successful. That I really successful.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that. It's definitely one of those things we have to think about. And again, it's defining and putting things into perspective. Yana, what about you? Do you think it's possible to be successful without being happy or happy without being successful?
When it comes to the first question, being successful without being happy, I would say no, no way. So it means that you aren't satisfied with what you are doing in your life. So I have to say we have to we have to identify our potential from the beginning once we want to go up the career ladder or whatever to achieve success. Yeah, we have to define a potential to different area aspects in your life. Yeah. You have to do something we really love, something we enjoy. If you enjoy and you really have potential to do this, you are more likely to achieve success. It's just the way when you turn your hobbies, your interest into your job, and just invest your hobbies, probably your talent, and therefore your knowledge. You invest those things into your job, yeah, or I would say you contribute the things into your job. So this is the way to success. If you're engaged with something you really love, it means you are successful, or you will achieve success in future, and you are happier. So happiness, this is something you love in your life. Yeah, you do it, and you are on the way to success. As for being happy without being successful, the second question, yeah, it's possible, I think. For some people can find happiness, let's say, in their families. For example, a mother having 10 kids, is she happy? Why not? I think yes, she is. I don't think she achieved. She made a fortune. Yeah, she earns a lot of money. But probably she doesn't need, yeah. Some people don't need pots of money. They need just place to live in, food to eat for today, yeah, and they're happy without millions, without pots of money. So yeah, to be happy without being successful, without having pots of money, it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, I like that kind of overview of everything. It all, yeah, there's so many different factors in that. Elliot, what about you? What do you think? Do you think it's possible to be happy or to be success? No, my goodness. To be happy without being successful and successful without being happy. Any order you want. It doesn't really matter because you can clearly see I can't even ask the question at this point in time. They're all just so out there.
Okay, I know that there are lots of people that they are successful, but they are not happy. We've got, I don't know, lots of examples. I don't know why. Maybe it's payment for happiness is the payment for being successful. I don't know. And vice versa, yes, you've got lots of happy people, and they are not successful from that point or which society defines that very success, but still they are happy. And I think so it is much more easier to be happy without being successful, and it is a very common situation when you are successful without being happy. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, no, I like all these points of view. They're all good. Everyone's got a good opinion on this. I mean, again, I don't know. I think that you have to be happy in life, right? So, I mean, you really can't, I think you can't be successful without being happy, because I think that's a key component of being successful, is having that happiness. When it comes being happy without being successful, again, like I think that, again, happiness is success. So, you know, again, these are all very personal questions. That's my sort of take on it, but I think it's possible. You know, inner smile, that sort of approach in life, I think it kind of works for this sort of thing. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, we're pretty much at the end of our conversation club today. It's been interesting talking with you. I hope that we're all happy and successful and that we've gotten a lot out of this. Any ideas for next week?
I would like to listen to the others first.
Others, come on. Denise, Yana, join in. Ideas.
Today I have no idea, so I try to prepare something new as a lesson after next, but today's no.
What do you guys think about?
I can't. I'm also so sorry. I can't think of any ideas just offhand. Maybe later.
What do you guys think about maybe online security? You know, keeping our files and personal information safe when it comes to passwords, when it comes to social media, when it comes to all these different things that we're using. What do you guys think about something like that?
Have we got this topic? I think we had it already, no?
Did we talk? We talked about that, didn't we, before? I'm just thinking about all this new information that we have with all this other stuff. But okay, let's think about something else then.
Maybe about football, because we are going to have that championship. What do you think?
Okay. All right.
I would like to ask to the others, do you agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I agree, in spite of the fact I'm not good at football. But okay, I agree.
Okay. Okay. So FIFA then. FIFA. And do you think that we can maybe do it on next Friday instead of Wednesday?
Friday.
Or what would be a better day? Maybe.
I think Friday is okay for me.
For me too.
Okay, so we'll do same time on Friday the 20th. That's okay?
Okay, yes. Thank you very much, Daniela.
All right. Thank you, everyone. It's been great talking about this all with you. I mean, I think it's a very good topic, interesting topic in that sense.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.